It's good to go. Okay, we are live, Miss Gwen. So excited to have you here today. I'm welcome everyone. We are here back again on Push Talk Podcast this month. We are talking to women who are breaking barriers in business. We'll give a few minutes, Miss Gwen, for people to join in the room. If you have not yet been on a Push Talk Podcast live this month, you better hurry up and get in this room because it is going to be a blast. And today I got the one and only. I mean, Miss Gwen, I can't wait to start this music. When I play this song, you gonna know it with the catwalk. So I have a special song set up just for you. But for those of you who will watch the replay later, my name's Esther Say. Push Talk Podcast is a baby of mine. I have been doing this for over a year, Miss Gwen. Can you imagine? I know, you start off, what is it? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a first step, right? So for me, this is something I've been doing. I'm just being consistent and saying, you know what? As a woman in business, we have to keep going. And it just takes one moment to see everything boom, boom, boom. Like we're going to hear about you today all over the world. Okay. Every time I hit you up, I'm looking on your screen, you're somewhere else. But we're just excited, so excited to have you today. Miss Gwen is an amazing guest. I'm going to read her bio really quickly and we'll get started. But we want to get people in the room. So come on, share, come on in the room. And I will say that the biggest thing is for our podcast, we ask, take a moment right now, subscribe. We are on Apple Podcasts. We also are on YouTube. Make sure you go and follow us so you don't miss out. We have tons of motivational messages that push you towards your purpose in business and your career and beyond. And like I said, this month is just about highlighting our women who are breaking barriers. So we'll get started, Miss Gwen, because this is 15 minutes of fun and we don't want to keep you any longer. And we keep it that way so people can really get that boost they need daily. So we'll start off reading your bio, and then actually I feel like I got to start with your music. So let me play this for a second. Here's your music. I don't know if you know this. This takes me back to my New York days. Can you hear that? Oh, yes. It makes me want to get up and do some dancing. Yes. Now you guys share this now. We're getting ready. We with the one and only Gwen DeVoe, so we had to have music. Okay. You know this one, right, Miss Gwen? Oh, this is the catwalk song. And today, y'all, we got the one and only Miss Gwen DeVoe. Okay, so let's go ahead. So I love this part right here. This is my favorite. Yes. I just feel like I'm on the catwalk every time I hear this. I'm getting hot because it's so so yes, for you Fashion Week ladies, you should know this song. And we're gonna talk all about walking the catwalk with Miss Gwen. So let's read her bio quickly and then we're gonna get started and just hear how she's breaking barriers in the world of entertainment. So Miss Gwen DeVoe is a fashion producer, commercial print model, an actor. And when she's not acting and producing events, what I love the most is that she devotes her time to mentoring and developing tons of young women interested in being in the fashion industry and modeling and entrepreneurs. And I know personally, as somebody who worked for her at one of her events, in addition to ensure that the plus size fashion brands are making sure they get the same airtime as any other line and brand. She is so big at making sure she's instrumental in creating a number of platforms to showcase the plus size community. Ms. Gwen, or Gwen, I should say, is the creator and former executive producer of Full Figured Fashion Week. If you haven't heard of it, Google it. It was an annual presentation of fashion industry's finest plus size models, designers, retailers, boutiques, businesses, you name it, they were there. And it was really a big help to promote the plus size community. Now, at the age of 62, looking like she's 16, Gwen decided that there's another demographic still breaking barriers that she wanted to offer her supports to in the world of arts and fashion. And now she created Silver Fox Modeling Camp, which is a one-day workshop for aspiring mature models, actors, artists, and influencers. So welcome again, Ms. Gwen. That's such a bio. Now I wanna jump right in. So we value your time and just hear more from you because I've been doing all the talking. So now it's time for us to talk to you. So you started all of this, and I want to just first start off addressing why fashion. Like, when did you get the call to get into fashion, and how did that play out into this extraordinary career that you have right now?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on Push Talks,
Oh
the
yeah,
number one podcast
yes, we are speaking into existence. Number one, and share it, guys. That watch us, share, okay? Because we're gonna be number one, okay? Then y'all gonna be wishing you jumped on. You, we started from the bottom, then we're gonna be here. You better get on
Yes,
it.
claiming it tonight. Thank you
Yes,
so
we
much
are
for
claiming
having me
it.
on. Yes. In terms of why fashion, it wasn't a big thing. I went to a New York Fashion Week event. I loved the clothes. I
Mhm.
wanted to buy the clothes, and I was told I couldn't buy the clothes because they didn't have
Mm,
it in my size. So,
mm, mm.
you can't tell me that I can't have something. So I went
Yeah.
back home. I was telling my friends and about the fashion show, and then I told my best friend, I said, "You know what? We need one of these."
Yep.
And the first thing that Sharon Quinn said was, "Well, if
Yeah.
anybody can do it, you can do it." And so I just wanted to have something that the smaller people had. You know,
Yeah.
they had, I would say, trillions of choices
Yeah.
for fashion. We had very little. They had the big old New York Fashion Week, but we
Yeah.
could go, but we can't buy the clothes. And I'm like, this is nonsense.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted equality, equal
Yeah.
runway equality, which meant
Yeah.
plus size models on the runway, and equal fashion choices. And
Yeah.
that was that. Basically, that was it. That was me looking for plus size models and me looking for businesses that catered to the plus size community, and also looking for designers who didn't
Yeah.
mind designing for our curve. So a
Love
small
it.
little idea turned into a plus size household name. And I'm so very grateful for the support
Oh.
that I received. Absolutely.
Your whole team was so phenomenal, and I remember I actually interned on your team, and goodness, I can't even remember what year that was, but I was just so blown away, Gwen, honestly, because it wasn't even like, it was huge, and it still is a household name, Full Figure Fashion Week. But what I loved is your humility, and to be honest with you, like, that really is what allowed me to just want to stay connected, even to this day, to have you back on my podcast, because even with my business, I always tended to start with people who maybe weren't big and known yet, but I
Yes.
wanted to give them an opportunity. And you did that by embracing so many of us who, in the beginning of our careers, wanted to get into the fashion world. We're doing stuff in plus size. I had a plus size clothing line at that time and just wanted to kind of get connected. And you did that. And I won't forget, you sent me a card afterwards, and you sent us money. In the card you gave us all. And at that time in New York, Miss Gwen, let me tell you something. That little Visa gift card was a blessing. Okay. But
I
the
know.
point, oh, can you hear me, Miss Gwen? It
Mhm.
may have froze. Okay, I was going to say, the point is, it was we interned, and I interned at many places. I'm talking about Saks and all these. Never, it was always like you just had to do it, but you always made sure to value who you had, and you
Yes.
stayed humble. You were never so, oh, this and that. And I think that's what people forget, that it's so important to stay humble. So I just wanted to thank you, so much for the opportunity you gave me, and just maintaining your humility, because that's what really opens doors for us. So just phenomenal what you did in the full figure industry, and what you're still doing now. So I want to transition next into, something I notice about you is every business you run, there's a trend that you always go after things and want to be the first. You make sure you do things that, of course, with business, you should always look for an opportunity, but you take on challenges that a lot of people would say, oh, I really want, but they don't. Your production company, even modeling in your early career to now. Tell us why the challenge. Like, I know that, people can say, oh, I want to make opportunity, but it's so many doors saying no. Why do you push forward? What is it that you want listeners to know that we have to push forward for?
Well, actually, it's interesting you should ask that question because
Mhm.
I don't really see these as challenges. What I see
Mm,
as areas that are underrepresented, And of course, my desire is to always be a catalyst for change. All right.
Yes.
So because I want to be that catalyst, I'm always pushed into the direction of underrepresented areas or areas where people are not, it's not heavily populated. You know what I mean? I've
Mhm.
never been the kind of person that walks to the beat of everyone else's drum. I always have to have my own stand, do it my
Yeah.
own way. And I could be a pain in the butt about it sometimes. But, I always want to be that person who looks at something as this is something that we need. This is something that's going to be great for the community, and I want to do it. The
Yes.
flip
I love
side is I always have to do it my way because I'm a Virgo. You know what I mean? But I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the things that I do, even if you want to call them challenges, I am like called to do it. I just don't jump and do everything, but I have a strong commitment or I
Mhm.
have a strong sense of, I can't put it into words, but this is something that I know that I've been destined to do. And I tell you, there's this new thing that's out. I don't know
Mhm.
how I feel about it yet. I guess it's a compliment, but they're saying that everything I touch turns to gold. And that is
Wow.
such a huge compliment in a way because so many
Mhm.
times we do projects. And one thing about me, I will never let a project go until God tells me that's it. That's all you
Yes.
do, So I keep at it, I keep at it. Um,
Mhm.
things until it's successful. And then usually when it's successful, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm on, you
Look,
know?
I'll tell you, Miss Gwen, I love it. At the end of the day, I love that your conviction is when God tells you, and that's big for me. The way I do business and everything I do, I'm like, if God is not first and He's not in the middle, it's not going to work out for me. I've tried it and I've had to hit my head several times trying to do my own way. So I
Mhm.
just love it. And advocacy is key. Like we talked about advocating for people. And I think any entrepreneur, especially women, I know there's also always a social, piece. Like, how are you going to make sure you're doing so your business infuses with social entrepreneurship? You have to give back. It's just vital. It's just
Yes.
important. You can't just be making money to make money because it doesn't make sense. There's so many
Mhm.
people and opportunities that are still out there that needs a voice to stand up for. So I love
Absolutely.
it. And I know as women, since this is National Women Small Business Month, sometimes I've noticed, like with some of my clients, and I want to hear from your perspective, that competition is real. What are ways that you keep your eyes on a prize and don't get caught up in everything else around you? Because especially in the entertainment industry, it can
Yes.
be a challenge. I would love
Yes.
to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, for me, I'm I'm big on using my influence in a positive way, you
Yeah.
know, and that keeps me grounded. You
Mhm.
know, there are so many projects that would benefit our community. Number one, as Black entrepreneurs, women
Mhm.
of color, women,
Yeah.
period, plus size, mature women, big and tall men. I mean, we have all these different communities. And I think that if we learn to use our influence in a positive way to effect change, right?
Yeah.
In these
Mhm.
other communities, you don't have time to worry about anything else. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
Also, people always say, you're always traveling, you must be having
Mhm.
a good time. Sometimes you have to learn how to infuse fun into the work. And so
Yeah.
for me, meeting people from all over the world who have supported Full Figure Fashion Week from day one, there was like 4 years where I never really had a real vacation. But
Mhm.
fellowshipping, going to people's events and spending time with women, listening to, their dreams, their desires. That was sort of like kind of vacation for me because, here I am with
Yeah.
like-minded women who wanted to
Yeah.
do the same kinds of things, who are interested in what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
that's how I, offer balance. It's though
Mhm.
a lot of it is pleasure, you
Yeah.
know?
I'll tell
Yeah.
you that. Sometimes I find myself, I'm like, oh, all hours of the night working. What time do you have to be worried about the next person? But
Not a
is that,
one.
it's one of those things that I hear a lot, and with social media and the way things are, people get, caught up in all those other things. And it's like, if you're focused on doing, I love what you said, what you're supposed to be doing, and you're in a community where you're pouring into others, you just don't have time to worry about anything else but just hitting that mark and meeting that goal. So I love it. And I want you to share a little bit. We've been talking about this catwalk and where you've been going. We played some music. Tell us a little bit about Silver Fox Modeling, some of the stuff you're doing now. Wow. I mean, as a mature model, I was looking, you're in this catalog, you're here, you're there. Tell us, because it's so funny. One of my friends said, I gotta listen in because I want to know how it is to be a mature model. And I was like, jump on. Let's hear a little bit about how you broke into that. Because I believe you did modeling before, right? Or can you share a little bit of your journey in that area?
So I was a freelance model way back in the late 80s, early 90s. But I'm going back to my astrological sign because Virgos do things in a certain way. And so I didn't get signed with agencies, and no one would sign me. And back then they kept saying that you weren't a real model if you weren't signed by an agency. So when I didn't get signed by an agency, I wanted to still stay in the fashion industry. So I started producing my own shows. So after I started producing the shows, I found out that every time I would put like a plus size model on the runway, the crowd would go wild. Why? Because 80% of the audience was plus size, right? So I started this plus size thing, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm tired, not tired, but I'm letting go figure fashion week go. And then I said, wait a minute, I need another underserved community.
Look at
So
that.
now all the women that kind of grew up with me, we're all the same age. You know, a lot of them have the children have blown the nest. Sometimes the husband is gone. So now they have all the time on their hands. And I'm like, oh, we need to see what we can do to get back into this beauty and fashion industry. I said, I know. So I started holding the workshops.
Wow.
Girl, everything was sold out, sold out, sold out. But here's my favorite mantra. I can show you, right? Better than I can tell you.
Yes,
So,
yes.
my mentor, she's like, you know what? This new hairstyle you got going on, I think I could do something with you now. And I'm like, girl, what could you do with me, child? I'm not. She's like, no, they're looking for mature models, and they're always looking for silver gray hair or gray hair. And most women of color, they can't embrace the gray yet, because right now we're wearing red hair, we're wearing purple hair. I'm like, well, I'm not wearing any of those. So submit me for whatever you want. Let me tell you about God.
Wow.
It's some mealy pictures. So not unprofessional, but they weren't like fashion pictures or anything. But just a headshot with this hair. Let me tell everyone that is watching this tonight, you will be seeing Miss Gwen in this hair for the next 10 years. Because
yes, silver hair. Come on now.
And this led people, casting directors, they love it. I don't always get the gig, but this hair, because when they're looking for mature, so many of us don't want to look mature. We're still the micro minis, and there's nothing wrong with you wearing the fashion, but when you want to get into commercial modeling, all right, there's a standard for the way a grandmother is supposed to look. You can be a fly grandmother, but you have to look older. Embrace those little crow feet around your eyes. Love about it, I don't have to wait. Okay, I don't have to get a flip. It's all me. Who I am. So I'm just like, girl. I mean, I did an Etsy commercial, a national Etsy commercial. I did my print work for elder care. I did something for I just shot with Target. I mean,
wow.
The list goes on, and I look like this.
I'm telling you, this is amazing. It's embrace who you are. And so many times, even who like want to get into entrepreneurship, we're trying to look like or fit into what we see out there. And it's like, no, just embrace who you are, and actually being different is what makes you beautiful, what makes you stand out. And this is just so perfect to exactly where I just feel, especially as I'm growing in entrepreneurship, is not trying to fit in, but creating my own lane, and hoping that there are a group and community of people who say, we're not going to try to fit in. We're going to be who God's called us to be, and people will get with it. You'll attract it. You're light. And it's, of course, the silver hair is a eye catcher, but you have the light. And once you have God on you, it's like, look, everything else, it just attracts. So I love it. I love it. That's so inspiring to me. And it makes me know I'm right on the right track, and all our listeners as well. So don't try to be anything else out there. Just be who God has called you to be. So amazing. And your Target, look, I'm just so excited for you. I saw you on the runway in, was it Puerto Rico you were at recently, right? In Puerto Rico, just ripping the runway. Oh my. It's so funny, right?
I used to love runway. Not so much now. Runway is hard, and with runway, you really have to embody a certain attitude, and a lot of the fashion events, particularly with modeling, they don't want you to smile. I mean, we always smiled, that was the rule.
Yeah.
So when you're in like some of the larger shows, and I have to say that was one of the largest shows I've ever been in. And I just felt awkward, because I felt like I wasn't letting my true personality come through. My friend, the designer that put me in the show, she said, just be queenly and take your time. Well, I got that part down pat, but I wanted to go.
You know how we could just bounce and have fun with it in the full figure world. Yep.
So the commercial product work is probably more my stilo right now. I'm really enjoying it because I get to be me,
Well, I'm going to share, listeners, how you can connect with Gwen and everything. But I have one more question for her, which is really, now I know, okay, so when was the Full Figure Fashion Week years? That was,
was 2009.
2009. Oh my gosh, it was that far. Because I'm just thinking, I know you were, look, and it's so true. As women, we're so focused on like our goals and just trying to build that you don't have time for everything else. But the good thing is, I saw after Full Figure Fashion Week, you found that boo, you done got married. Oh, okay, yeah. So you know what? My next question has to do with that. As you're breaking through in business and you're breaking barriers, I find that women, we have to sacrifice a lot. And I don't want that for us anymore. We need to be able to be a mother, be everything else, and still do our business. So I want to talk to you about balance. How do you find balance, making sure as you're traveling and doing all these things, you're able to still balance a personal life, your family, and keeping that a priority? How could you give us advice? Because you're all over the globe now. So, you really would be the person to know.
Yeah, well, I think the important factor here is choosing the right partner. You know what I mean? I've always known that, I remember I had a boyfriend, and we were both the same type of personalities. That doesn't work. Okay. He was partying, I was partying. We both can't.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that failed epically, epic fail, I knew the kind of man I wanted, and so I was very determined to choose someone who, number one, would not be envious.
Yes. That's
who I am. Okay. Someone that was very, very comfortable. And people used to always say, we never see your other half. Y'all don't need to see him.
Exactly. It ain't their business, right?
I don't have any bruises on my body. I don't have any black eyes, and know that he's supportive. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we see that we have women, particularly women, we have partners, and we want that man to be with us everywhere. We got to have it all hugged up on yourself and stuff like that. Okay, if you have that kind of man with you that likes that kind of thing, well, my man is fine. My husband is fine being in the background. He's there for me. When he shows me that he is able and
comfortable to give me that space to be who I am, I make sure I double time him. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I cook, great meals. I surprise him. Like a lot of times, Amazon boxes will come to the house and he'll think they're for me. No, they're actually for him. I buy him.
Ladies, start taking notes. And men too, take some notes, y'all.
Products, this beard. I'm on Instagram. I'm like, oh, Alphonse, like. So I guess I am appreciative after I've been. And to be honest with you, God has always had a hand in my life when it comes to my mate. I have had a lot of bad relationships. I really haven't.
Thank
when
God.
I with them, it's because we've grown apart. I had one bad one, and that was enough to show me what I didn't want. And I'd like to tell this story. It's kind of humorous. Men don't choose me. I choose them.
Yeah. All right now. Okay. Well, let me put this music back on again. Can you say that again now?
I have always sort of chosen who I wanted to be with. It didn't always work out because they didn't always like me back. But I'm the aggressor when it comes. I'm like, I want. And that's how it was with my husband. I'm like, that's the one I want right there.
Wow.
That's the one. And so we need to take an active approach. I don't believe in this whole thing of women getting on their knees asking men to marry.
Now that I can't get with.
But I do believe
that one is not for me. Yeah.
I do believe that we should take an active role and really, think about what type of partner we want to make a commitment to. And not everything for a lifetime. We got to get away from that too. I want to be with Alfonso for the rest of my life, but that might not happen. So I'm enjoying the time that we have together right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You're giving us wisdom. Look, you're giving dating advice, finding your spouse or your spouse finding you. Look, I love it because
I'll be like, she's old fashioned.
Let me tell you, honestly, this is all part of life and all part. You are your business, your personal life, and sometimes we put all these things on the back burner. Yeah, and I think it should be inclusive. And I love what you mentioned too. You really have somebody who's supportive, and it's not about what anybody else thinks. It's about what works for you guys. So I love it. And Miss Gwen, it's always so short. Every time I have these, I'm like, we already even went over. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, but I said, oh no, we're gonna ask all these questions today. So for those who are watching, they understand. Now I want to talk about how we can get connected to you for our mature models, inspiring mature models out there, and even the ones who aren't mature and they want you. You have been in this game for a while. I just remember all the women that would come and you made it even if they weren't on the official catwalk. The whole event was a catwalk, so we all stepped out. I remember wearing these shoes. I've had these Da Vinci shoes that I don't know till the day. I think that's why my big toe still hurts. Okay, I was like, I'm coming out there ready. I was stepping out in those glass shoes, I remember. And it's just, you made us all want to get our best, even if we're in pain. We were ready to just look and feel our best. So tell us, how can we connect with you? I'm going to put your social media up here. How can those who want to become and take your classes and want to join Silver Fox Modeling Camp? Is it for men too? Because we have men that want to model. Tell us a little bit about how we can connect to you.
So she has already listed my social media handles. Do we call them profile? I guess it's profile.
Yeah.
Right from a
little bit of both, right?
But on social media, I'm either Gwen DeVoe. All right. Gwen DeVoe is on Facebook. Gwen Mogul DeVoe is on Instagram. I do have an account on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter. Twitter is just too invasive for me. Y'all be talking too much. I just can't.
Twitter wars.
If you're interested in being a Silver Fox model, you have to be at least 50 years of age. Male.
I love it for my mature ladies and men. Come on, let them have something.
is www.silverfoxmodelcamp.com, and my personal website, which is about to be changed so you guys can see the new Gwen DeVoe. Oh, I hate to take that picture now. But it's not me anymore because this is how I look now, but it's gwendevoe.com. And what that website, the new website, is going to be all about my commercial modeling career and some mentoring. And I'm also going to be selling a few curated fashion items.
Oh, okay. Let me start getting my coins ready. Okay. I am. It makes sense, right? You've hit every other industry. Now it's time for us to start wearing the Gwen DeVoe. Okay, so such a pleasure having you, Gwen. I'm so used to saying Miss Gwen. I have to remember. Oh, Gwen, thank you so much just for this opportunity, sharing your story, helping to just show how women are breaking barriers. It's not impossible, guys. If you put your faith into what you're doing and do what you're called to do, don't worry about being the only one. Worry about being true to who you are. And trust me, the success that Gwen has had with Full Figure Fashion Week and Silver Fox Modeling and the various others, everything she touches is gold, is also very much an opportunity for you to have too. So if you want to keep enjoying getting motivation like this and so much more, make sure you subscribe to Push Talk Podcast on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. And we are always looking for great, amazing guests. So if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, make sure you email me at info@pushstrategist.com. If you need to push yourself, reach out to me. I'm here to push you towards your purpose and business, career, and beyond. So thank you, Miss Gwen. Any last words before we end? I feel like I got to end with some of our catwalk music here.
Oh my God.
I put my sister on this song. She loves it.
Use your gifts. Okay.
Yes.
Use your gifts. And
use your gifts. Yes, walk that catwalk, okay? Use your gifts, people. Walk that catwalk and be who you are. Being different is being beautiful. Look at what it's done. It's blessed Miss Gwen. It's blessed me, and it's to bless you too. So thank you so much. And stay tuned. Tomorrow we will have another episode live. Today was a bonus. And tomorrow we will have another guest sharing about how women are breaking barriers in holistic marketing. And we're having giveaways. So make sure you join 5:30 Central Standard Time, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I look forward to helping pushing you guys towards your purpose. Thank you, Miss Gwen. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining.